This is the video tutorial for the Happy Days Lisa tissue wallet. It's designed to hold a standard pack of handy tissues. And this is how we make it. And this is what you'll need. 2 contrasting fabrics and a packet of handy sized tissues. Use your templates and cut out your 2 pieces of fabric. It seems a bit odd, but the smaller piece of your 2 fabrics will be the main fabric that you will always see. Next, place your 2 fabrics right sides together, so pretty side to pretty side. Line up the sides and edges and add some clips. I've lined up my one edge. It is correct that there's a gap here, so don't worry too much. Next, I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to sew all the way along. I've sewn all along using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm now going to work on this side. So carefully lift your fabrics and once again line up the top edges and the sides and add some clips. Now I've added my clips, I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and once again use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew all the way along. I've sewn all the way along. Now turn it the right way out. Once you've turned it, do as I've done and ensure that there's the same amount of lining fabric showing this side and this side. And then when you're happy with that, press. Measure 20 centimetres from this edge. Make a mark and as I've done, draw a line across. We're now going to fold over the fabric and match this edge and this line. And then add a few clips. I've lined up along the line I drew and I've lined up the sides and added clips. Now I'm going to take this edge and line it up this edge and add a clip either side. I've added all my clips and now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and use a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew all the way along. And when I get to this join here, I'm going to go over it a couple of times to reinforce the stitches and sew all the way down to the bottom and stop. And do exactly the same for the other side. Sew along, backwards and forwards a few times to reinforce the stitches and then all the way down to the bottom and stop. Just to confirm, I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I've sewn all along, reinforcing at the join. I've also snipped each of the 4 corners for a much nicer finish when we turn it. Now before we turn it, you might like to use your pinking shears or zigzag along the raw edge. Again, completely up to you. And now we're going to turn it the right way out. I've turned it the right way out and I've carefully pushed out the 4 corners and pressed it. Now all that's left is to pop our tissues inside. I'll pop my tissues inside and that's our Happy Days Lisa tissue pouch all finished.